If you keep leaving dates, replaying everything you said back into your head and wondering if you were enough instead of if they were right for you, stay with us. We're a real couple and we built a strong relationship after 30.
So we know how confusing this stage of dating is. Today, we will tell you why that's happened and how to change it.
So why is it when you go on a date, you feel like you're being interviewed for a job or you have to audition for a role? Well, it doesn't actually start out that way in the beginning. When you start dating at first, you don't go there thinking you have to perform and impress people. But after time and time again of feeling like you haven't been chosen or you didn't get the role, you start to feel a little bit insecure. And that's where that stems from.
So it's simple. Imagine that you go on date, everything seems good, nothing's really happened, and finally, 2 or 3 days after, you receive a message and this person tell you, hey, I didn't feel any connection.
Or they ghost you, or if you have this happen to you a few times after a few dates where someone just doesn't choose to continue seeing you, or maybe even after 2 or 3 dates and they got to know you a little better and they're just not feeling it.
And there is no reason that you can see directly, they are not tangible. This is when your brain interprets it as a rejection. And the interesting part is that research show that social rejection activates the same brain region as physical pain. So the brain does what it always does when it feels pain. It tries to figure it out why.
And that's when the change inside of you starts to happen, because instead of thinking about, maybe we're not compatible, you start to think, what did I do wrong? And I need to change something. Because, when you feel pain over and over again, well, eventually your nervous system is going to try to protect you. And your brain is going to try to protect you from that happening again. So if you feel like you've been rejected repeatedly, you are going to look to control that situation and change things within yourself in order for that not to happen again.
And again, unconsciously, but it's also a biological reaction. Your body directly reacts and prepare you to protect yourself by any means necessary.
And this is where compatibility turns into self-evaluation. So now that you're focused more on self-evaluation, your behavior on dates actually starts to change. So now when you go on a date, you're feeling a little bit more reserved. You're a little bit more careful. You start to say less. You don't express yourself as much. You're observing more, seeing what you need to say to kind of impress this person or perform in essence.
Instead of showing your true self, you're waiting for cues on what to say next.
But you're not being fake, right? Like it's not like you're being fake. You just don't want to mess it up.
Yeah. You want it to be perfect, actually.
And with that, then dating becomes something you manage and not something that you actually experience and enjoy.
So if they still don't choose you after this, the only variable left feels like you. And that's when self-blame starts to get deeper. Normally, when some things go wrong, we blame external factors. But when rejection repeats enough time, people start to internalize it. Well, it must be me. It must be my fault.
That type of self-blaming, self-talk, it may seem very little, but it plants a seed and eventually it grows into something much bigger. And this is exactly how you get to that place that we talked about in the beginning, where you start to feel like, I am auditioning. I need to pass this test. I cannot make a mistake. I got to show up and show my best mask.
Yeah.
Not my best self, but my best mask.
For them to don't disappear again.
And this is because you're no longer viewing dating as a mutual selection or someone you have to select. You're viewing it as, I need to be chosen.
So this creates a very specific emotional pattern. You have a lot of anxiety before date, a lot of fatigue after date, and then you are less and less confident each time.
When you're in that moment, you don't realize that it's happening, because dating was never actually meant to be a test, right? It's a filter.
Yeah.
It's your filter. It's literally two people exploring if they fit together, if they are compatible. When you're in the mindset of I gotta perform, you completely forget that you actually also have to evaluate. You have to sit there and think, do I want this person?
Yeah.
Do I actually want to go on another date with them? You have to decide, am I calm around this person? Am I actually curious to know this person more? Do I want to see them again? And if someone doesn't choose you, it doesn't mean you failed. That's not automatically what that means. It often means there was no alignment or no compatibility. And alignment is a mutual thing.
So the real change doesn't start with dating strategy. It starts with changing the question. So instead of asking, how do I pass? Start asking yourself, do I actually want this person in my life? You need to notice what's happened to your body when you are around them. Do you feel you can relax? Do you feel safe? Because connection doesn't grow through performance. It grows through vulnerability.
Yes, and vulnerability can only be achieved when you're being authentic,
Yeah.
and when both people are being authentic and present in the date. So if dating feels like a test that you keep failing, it's usually because you're measuring yourself instead of measuring compatibility. Just try to remember that dating is meant to be experienced and enjoyed. In our last episode, we talked about how after getting hurt, people start protecting themselves.
And when you start dating from that protected place, it is very easy to start to evaluate yourself instead of be connected.
So if you want to know where that pattern actually begins, watch our previous episode.